this week? So far, so good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna ask just a few questions before we get started, guys. This is some pretty powerful stuff for anybody, no matter what level you are in your real estate career, everything else. But a couple of questions just before we get started. I guess, Brandon, I'll pick on you. So what is a character trait of, you know, some of the most successful individuals that you know? What is a uniform character description or character trait that they all have?
Progress. I mean, every day you get better. 1% times 365 days is 365%. So little by little.
All right, Bruce, what about you? What is a character trait on probably some of the most successful people that you've read about, that you see on TV, that you know personally? Anything come to mind?
Well, I think resilience.
Good, that's a good one.
Not taking the nose for an answer.
And I'm not a world-class speller, so we'll just go with that. Michael, anything resonates with basically what are some of the character traits of some of the most highly successful people that you know?
Setting daily goals.
Daily goals, setting goals. Randy, you were around a ton of successful guys. What was one thing that most everybody in your field basically, what was one of the things that all the most successful guys have?
To me, hands down, work ethic.
Work ethic.
And that fills out all that, really.
These are some good ones right here. Anybody else have anything else that they want to add?
Tenacity.
Tenacity.
Leadership.
Drive.
Time management.
You know, typically anybody that's real successful that I've ever met with got a certain confidence about their systems, you know. They kind of get up in the morning and you go have breakfast with them, and they already kind of have this aura that my day's set and I know what I'm gonna do.
I agree with all of those. Yeah, all of those are great things. Guys, so there's been several books written on basically how do you get the most out of your day, how do you get the most out of your life, how do you get the most out of your clients. One thing that really resonated with me was the rule of basically how to be able to triple, quadruple your income, the people that you hang around, everything else. And it says 1% of progress. Basically, this is 1% progress weekly, guys. Daily, weekly, 1%. I mean, that's increasing your productivity by 1% on a daily basis, which is small little increments, plus daily application, plus persistence, plus time equals success. So the main thing that you hear from every single person is integration, automation. Basically, I've told you guys all the time, like there's probably 13 conversations that you could possibly have with a buyer or seller. Past 13 is just bullshit. So you know that every single conversation that you have with someone, you're gonna have to respond almost the same damn way. If someone sends you an offer, thank you very much for your offer, I'll be getting back to you shortly. You literally ought to have a template in your email box that basically anytime that you're getting something like a normal deal, it's a freaking template. And those templates should be saved, and it literally should just streamline your entire day. Once you have it built out on a weekend, on a Sunday, hell, I went through all my own notes at my Saturday open house because it was raining and I was sitting there and there wasn't many people going through. I just went through all my own notes. You know, I could have sat there and built templates for 2 hours. You know, make sure you maximize your time that's going to be able to automate your life and automate the business. And integration of that is the key. They say that if you're able to do 1% progress, daily implementation, basically at the end of your year, take whatever production that you've done and multiply it by 37. It's crazy. I mean, that's just saying basically if you closed 3 properties last year that you're gonna close 91, something like that, the next year, if you just simply use the 1% rule. Daily integration, setting up automation, setting up all your select items that you're doing, where it's not basically weighing down majority of your day. The crazy thing is, what is it? It says, I'm gonna steal it from somewhere else. It says that our production in an 8-hour workday, the average person gets 1.8 hours of physical work done. The others is just mumbo jumbo crap that just fills your day. Whether it's social media, whether it's typing out an email, whether it's creating a marketing piece that you shouldn't be wasting your time on. 1.8 hours of production, actual physical production done in an 8-hour work week, and that does say a lot, and that's average across the board. The code, guys, is once you understand the rule and basically the 1% progress, and guys, we have a ton of 1%ers that you can get with. I mean, everything from your social media to your slide broadcast to your slide text to creating videos to sync. I mean, sync there's a plethora of ways to basically make money on sync. We'll go over that here in just a little bit, but guys, you gotta love the process. You gotta do it every day. I mean, that's just like any athlete in any sport and everything else. I mean, you can only imagine playing from the time that you're basically 8 years old to the time that you're 40-something years old. You have to love the process. You have to love everything about it. You have to do it every day. It's not easy, guys. We'll talk about a little bit about some of the myths, but celebrate the commitment. Track your metrics and master your craft. Guys, if you're not tracking your metrics, how in the world are you knowing if you're winning or losing every day? When you go basically for the entire week and you're tracking your metrics, even if you have an off day or you're showing property and it doesn't work out and you feel like, man, that's a busted day, you look back over your week and your 7 days and did I win more days than I lost? You know, did I make the phone calls? Did I do these extra things? Did I write my notes? You know, did I schedule my time? Did I time block everything out personally to where I can actually physically say I won four out of those 3 days? Now you're going to create a pattern. So just make sure you're tracking it, and then when it says master your craft, guys, if this is something that you want to be successful in, it's going to take you 5 to 7 years. But just like any other business, any other career, any other sport, anything else that you physically do, what else are you going to be doing for those next 5 to 7 years anyways? Struggle and master your craft so you can be within the top 10 to 20% of your industry. When you're in the top 20%, you know, or 10%, guys, those people are making 90% of the money. You'll be making over $500,000 a year in real estate. It's not that difficult. There's several people, and there's even people basically that are here at Wingo that are very close to making those numbers. So you can't say, oh, that's just impossible. Yes, they've been working for a long time, but they've basically implemented everything. They track their metrics, and they understand basically where to make their money. They understand if I do this for a certain amount of time from every single day, I know what my results are going to be. It's proven because they've done it over and over and over again and they implement it. Guys, the myths, and I mean, we're all, all guilty of this right here, is but basically like that, you know, every life is a highlight reel. We look at some of the top real estate agents across the country, and basically you look at their numbers and it's like a Sports Center highlight reel. Closing here, closing there, closing here, closing there. Those teams probably are making $0. The head person there, I guarantee with the overhead and everything that they're doing, they're almost making zero. I go to these masterminds with some of the top brokers that are doing $80 million, $100 million, and they're literally breaking even. You know, so everything else on social media everything is great, roses, petals, everything is shining great. Guys, you know how hard they physically have to work every single day to get to $100 million to break even? So, you know, don't be stuck in that mundane thing and think like everything's a highlight reel, everything's an Instagram model, everything is wonderful, because people only put stuff on social media to promote a certain lifestyle or something else. But we all get stuck in the myth that real estate agents, these ones that are closing these $1.3 million dollar homes and these listings, that they're making all this money. They probably cut their commission. They probably spend another $5,000 on basically the marketing for that property because they can have it, and they're giving away basically 40 to 50% of their commission to the broker. So, guys, you have to be realistic on kind of where you are and making sure that you're not getting stuck in seeing what else is going out there to basically hinder what you want to do. And that's where it gets away from that 1.8 hours of productivity compared to the 8 hour in an 8 hour day on how much time is wasted on other things. The be-all, end-all myth. That basically means that like I'm gonna come up with one solution. It's gonna be the whole thing. I'm gonna put all my eggs in one basket, and that's gonna be it. Guys, if you haven't seen how real estate has changed over the last 2 to 3 years, there is no be-all, end-all in real estate. It's 10 years of pivoting this way and that way. I can tell you from the time that I started to the time I am at right now, light years, guys. I mean, we barely had Garmin's. You know, we were driving around, basically, we had key maps and freaking we had to read the, and at the damn real estate agent didn't put the right, you know, directions there, you drive around the neighborhood lost. You know, and that was just normal. Now it's just incredible the amount of information. So you're not gonna just find this one solution, this silver bullet, and you're gonna be like, this is it. I mean, I'm gonna just crush it on this because it might work for 6 months and then you're gonna have to pivot. So if you think that you're not, you know, doing everything that you possibly can, don't worry about it, because there is no one solution. It's having a bunch of irons in the fire and being able to pivot quickly when things change. And guys, there is no perfect timing. One day I'll get started. Everybody knows that. You know, it's the same thing. You know, and then see adversity. Geez, there it is. As feedback. So a lot of times we all get frustrated with shitty inspections, crappy appraisal. You know. Horrible feedback, you know, crappy listing that just won't sell. All of the different things that we do. Some things working, some things not really working. You know, maybe it doesn't work out with the seller, you know, and the seller basically has some you know, harsh criticism. Take that adversity as feedback, guys. You know, we learn more from our mistakes, guys, like we always talk about, than you ever will from your successes. So we've all had, no matter how much business I've done, I've always had clients that weren't satisfied, that we got fired. And you know what we did is we learned from those mistakes. We learned from dealing with those type of people or those type of personalities and how to handle those personalities differently next time. Because we can always change somebody's mindset. We can always flip something over if we just basically learn how to deal with adversity. Focus. Pomodoro method. So that's kind of, look that up, guys. That's where it's talking about basically 1.8 hours of productivity in an 8-hour workday. And, you know, it says a lot there, guys, on our focus. Pick your big ticket items, guys. Like, write down on you know, what we call as our big rocks and how to move the big rocks. So you write down everything that you're doing on a daily basis, just everything that you're doing and everything that you need to do. And then go through there and circle the ones that are going to be the things that are going to drive the most income to you. Pick 4 of those, and that's what you focus on. Don't focus on following up with, you know, Facebook responses or, you know, what I need to promote this and that or anything else. Pick the big items. You know, I close deals with, you know, let me pick the people that I've closed properties with the last 12 months. Let me follow up with them and see how everything's going, how they're satisfied with everything. See if they have referrals for me. That's going to make me some money. It's going to get me somewhere down the road. You know, pick a big ticket item. I need to do X amount of slide broadcasts, you know, within this week. I need to be able to call 120 people this week. Circle the big ones and stick with those. Don't try to do everything. Just make sure that you have all your big rocks circled and you know exactly where you're going. Persistence, guys. Vision. Where are you going long term? So we all know where you are short term, but where's our vision going long term? Guys, I say this all the time. Every time you have a thought, it's a vibration. It goes out there into basically the world. It's proven that every time you have a positive thought, negative thought, it creates a different vibration and it goes out there into the space. It's proven that law of attraction, if you're constantly thinking about where you're going, you spend 20 minutes visualizing, you know, with your eyes closed, where you want to be in life, what you want, the people that you want to surround yourself with, and I guarantee you those type of things are going to start coming in your life. You have someone that's always worried about their debt. Gosh, can't get out of debt. Can't get out of a bad relationship. Oh, poor me, I've had all this bad stuff happen to me in my life. You know, when is anything ever going to happen good for me? Those type of things come into everybody's thought processes. No matter where you are in life, how much money you have, how much money you don't have. Look at celebrities, they're the most miserable people in the world. You know, they have all the money in the world, they're the most miserable people taking their lives. It's basically, it doesn't matter where you are, how much money you have, everything else, we still go through the same motions. Try meditating for 15-20 minutes outside in space and think about where you want to be, where you want to become, the kind of person that you want to become, the kind of people you want to surround yourself with, and just watch over the next 30 days how basically certain things that you put out there in space come back into your life. It's crazy. Endurance. no money. That's the biggest problem. Everybody's like, man, I do that if I have more money. You know, I do that, you know, it things. Or they give up because they have no money. And so what I always look at is basically look at the bands. You know, you never had the Rolling Stones or someone like that. You look at their story. I guarantee you all those people played little hole-in-the-wall bands, hole-in-the-wall stuff. They just progressed. They did their endurance all the way to get to where they are now. Same thing with a business owner. I don't know any true business owner, whether it's a large corporation, it's a multi-million-dollar company, that didn't start from somebody's garage, somebody's car, Apple, or how they started. I mean, it's just crazy when you hear all of these businesses. You never see a business that's a business owner that basically was given a business or silver spoon in the mouth. It always has some type of adversity or story behind their craft. So, you have to start everywhere. I hate to tell everybody over this. I mean, gosh, in the time that I've had Windhill, the first year and a half, I had to borrow 10 grand from my parents just to keep it afloat for like the first year. And there's probably been 2 other times to basically where we've been down to basically almost nothing after Harvey, losing so much there, not being able to close things for 6 months. I mean, it'd be real easy to close up shop, go to somewhere else where, instead of paying, X amount, you're paying, not even a third of that, but what is the vision? What is the long term? Where do I want to see myself years down the road? You got to, persevere. The blueprint, guys, I love this question. What can I do right now to believe my vision is possible and it's coming true sooner than I thought possible? Fill your day with high priority duties, guys. I think we all need to ask our question is, what can I do right now? What is it today that I'm going to do, whether it's going to be basically picking up the phone and making the phone calls that I never did, that's going to be reaching out to someone that I haven't reached out to in the past, or basically getting down and just digging into my Google Calendar and blocking off everything that I need to do to be productive this week, and basically sticking to it and having an accountability partner to make sure that they hold me accountable to everything that's in my calendar. Roadblocks, guys, we all hear this. It's too simple. Man, that's too simple. I think we all think that we need to have this 20-step program. If I get a listing, I need to do all 20 steps, or if I get a buyer, I've got to do all these 20 steps, or if I want to market myself, man, I need to put down 12 different steps to market. Guys, that's the biggest problem, because all we're doing is we're looking at how long, how lengthy all those steps are, and we're never going to get past the first step. If you just make things simple, simplicity is power, guys. The more simple a system is, the more simple conversation is, the more powerful it really is. So find something in your workday that's not complicated, that you guys don't have to sit down and research for 20 hours. Find something that's super simple that you can track your metrics on and implement it immediately. And then big results, guys. Everybody's looking for big results. I mean, we always want to be a home run hitter, right? And then, but when you look at the best home run hitter ever, they struck out basically 2/3 of the time. So, I mean, that's the whole thing, guys. If you're a home run hitter, you're going to strike out a lot. I mean, a whole lot. And it's going to be hard to continue and build that momentum. So what we like to do is just hit base hits, guys. Be a base hit batter. You're going to hit a home run from time to time, but you're going to be able to basically survive and feed yourself hitting base hits. What I'm saying is, don't always go after the $1 million client. Don't always go after the commercial whale. And if you get that big commercial whale, and you get that big $1 million client, don't focus and hone all your energy into trying to hit that home run or get that client. They're going to come around. Yes, you still have to nurture it. Yes.
You finish your thoughts and all.
Yeah, you don't have to basically focus so heavily on that big deal, because guys, what you're going to do is you're going to starve yourself until you get to closing. And then basically, if anything happens and that thing gets pushed, it's traumatic in your life. But if you had enough things underneath you to help you survive until that big deal came to fruition, guys, it's a lot more gratifying, and you're not going to be completely stressed out of your mind. Yes, sir.
So a perfect example, what you just said, you're talking, because I love baseball, so anything metrics from that's just really flies up my alleyway. So have you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Yep. Oh yeah.
All right, there's a gentleman named Billy Beane who was a great baseball player, drafted really high back in the 80s by the Mets, was going to make a lot of money, wound up being terrible, but actually back in the early 90s invented something called sabermetrics. And what he did is he started talking about all these different players. One year they actually did really well, and the next year they gutted the entire team and got all these different people from a metric standpoint. instead of having the superstars, they got people who simply, like you said, got on base. You know, this person hits home runs, this person gets on base. Their on-base percentage was higher, meaning there's a more likely possibility that they score at the end of the day. So for that, if you've got 2 hours of your time, it's actually a true story. It's still in metrics now. The guy's still the general manager of the Athletics, and they're in a playoff hunt with a team that barely scratches the surface as far as what people pay for general ideas. So if you want to, Moneyball, it's a great movie.
Yeah, awesome movie. The lowest paid salary, and I mean they and got into the playoffs. That's what we all want to do, is get in the playoffs. You know, you definitely want to basically get to the next step.
Exactly right.
Yeah, yeah.
They want
And
this
then,
year.
yeah, exactly right. Guys, the last thing is playing the comparison game. So, and I am guilty of this, just like everyone else. Basically, oh my gosh, this person, this company is absolutely crushing. What are they doing? Let me just copy and paste and do whatever they're doing instead of staying in our own lane. And I think the analogy and the comparison is brilliant. Where you see the guy shoveling, you know, and he's digging, and the guy next to him is digging, and the guy next to him picks up this diamond, you know, and he's looking at the diamond, he runs off, and the guy jumps from his, hole and jumps into the other hole, and just digging, and his dirt is filling up his hole, and right underneath about a foot, if he just kept digging in his own lane, was this huge diamond, you know, and that's kind of how it really works in life. If you're in your lane, you focus and you're consistent, you're going to hit base hits, you're going to do some good stuff. But right when you see that, Jen Marie got a, this and that listing or this and that for this, how'd you do that? How'd you get? And now I'm switch my whole, method or training or thought process. Guys, if you have a plan, stick with your plan. Your plan is going to work if you're consistent in your plan. But if you change your plan just based on what someone else is doing or successes that someone else has, it's going to implode your plan. It's going to keep you from being consistent, and you're going to be all across the board. And we've had agents that have come here that would have been phenomenal, but I mean, they just literally wanted to do everything. It was everything from 1 million mailouts to 1 million text messages to 1 million phone calls to 1 million Op-City clients to 1 million Home Light clients to, open houses 10 times a week to, and it was just like, I mean, I got dizzy watching it, but it was never any direct focus because the follow-up couldn't be there. You can't follow up with the amount of leads that you're doing if you're not having consistency and knowing where they come from. Because just like anything else, if I've got 20 different outlets where I'm getting leads coming in, I've got 20 completely different conversations. But if I literally am calling tax delinquencies and I call tax delinquencies for a week, I guarantee the same objection that I'm going to get is the same damn objection I'm going to get from every single person I talk to that's tax delinquent. And eventually I'm going to come up with a conversation that's going to be ironclad, and I'm going to have my go-tos. And if they ask me a question, I'm like, holy shit, no one's ever asked me that question. Let me get you the answer. I don't know. Let me get you the answer in about 30 minutes or so. Let me do some research and get back to you. Pretty soon, guys, you're going to convert more on the tax delinquencies than you might on the weed abatements that typically are better closers because your conversation with these people are it's so unique to their situation. And you guys are going to be able to answer questions before they even ask them. And that's kind of where you need to be, guys, is making sure that if I'm going to have direct focus, I'm not going to let outside noise come in. I'm going to just get and direct on my focus. And if I'm not successful, I'm going to schedule a meeting with Charlie and say, what the hell went wrong? What conversation was I having that was no? And we'll figure out if it's basically the timing, if it's a conversation, if it's a close, and what it is, and we'll basically tweak it. And then go after it again. And that's the kind of stuff that you guys need to be doing. And when the same question is, what can I do right now, guys? So I'm going to tell you guys a few things as far as what I see in some of the most successful business owners that I've seen across the country. And guys, one thing that resonates more with me than anything else is the most successful people that I've ever met in my entire life wake up earlier than anyone else I've ever known. I mean, they are literally up at 4 to 4:30 in the morning. And whether they sleep for 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever, however long they sleep, they typically are awake before anyone else. And it's the fear that someone else is going to basically take or be able to beat them at something. I think fear drives them out of bed and keeps them going. It's you want to compete, but you don't want anybody taking you out of the place that you're in right now. So I think for me, that resonated well, because if you're up early, opportunity comes, or you're going to find opportunity. But all of these guys, whether it's progress, resilience, setting goals, working on your work ethic, leadership, time management, tenacity, confidence. Pick something, guys, out of your own personal list and focus on that this week, whether it's waking up earlier. The other thing, guys, is I always found that people that are the most successful find time to read. Whether it's through MentorBox, that takes 30 minutes for me because I'm not a big reader. And that was always the difficult thing for me. Is like, I had to read the business section of the paper when I was a new agent because I didn't have a clue what the hell I was doing. And I wanted to sound knowledgeable on just what was going on in the city. Or whether it's just basically grabbing some type of self-help book or audiobooks or something. Guys, read the things that are going to help you guys take it to the next level. Find a self-help book. Go on a MentorBox and listen to some of the stuff that it talks about automation, email automation, all of the other things that you actually have to do on a daily basis to make sure that you guys are staying ahead of everyone else, ahead of the curve. So, like I said, pick something, guys. Everybody's going to be different. What can I do right now? And every single person in here probably should have something just a little bit different. And pick something that basically is a character trait that you guys are going to work on this week that basically some of the most successful individuals out there, whether it's picking a book to read, whether it's doing something else that's going to give you, one of those items. But that's my challenge to you guys this week is just pick something, one thing. Don't pick a bunch of things. Make a list, guys, and make a list of everything that you're doing on a daily basis. I mean, just everything. And then circle 4 of them that are going to give you the opportunity to make the most money and focus on those this week. Focus on those and be consistent around those 4 things and see if those don't come to fruition instead of consistently doing everything. All right. Couple little, housekeeping items. So the listening to you guys about some of the things that you do need. So I've got Fernando coming in here to work on getting us some better lighting in here. We also basically have a couple of other computer stations that we will be setting up as well for agents to literally just come in and workstations. So if you need, I know that a couple of you guys have had issues with printers as well too. So I know Michael has been working with the printer company trying to get some of that stuff resolved. But what we'll do is we'll actually have a couple different workstation computers set up, probably along there or over here in the back or something. We'll figure out something to where if you guys needed to just come in, hop in, print out some marketing material or work from a workstation, we'll have those set up for you guys as well too. Everybody knows that we have another satellite office at 5300 Memorial, now Suite 420. It is Ryan Evans' office at, I can't remember what the company is called, but it's an awesome workspace. You guys seen those WeWork spaces, and I sent you guys a couple of photos. So if you guys want to ever work out of that location, I know that I'm going to get my investment team there once a week just to be able to do group calling. And so if you guys ever want to work out of that space, a couple hours for an entire day, all you guys need to do is just shoot Emily or Kelly and I an email. And all we'll do is, Ryan said, don't have to make a reservation or anything. He just would want to, like, if he hasn't met you guys, want to say hello. He wants to know who, he's not going, hey, who are you? So he'll just want to put a face with a name. But that's also another place, if you guys say, look, man, I love to come in, but I'm a little bit nervous on calling. I don't really want to have people listen to me calling. That's just not my thing. Instead of having to go to a Starbucks or being somewhere else, you have a complete quiet space. They have a conference room. They have the workspace area there where you can come in there and plug in and work too. So we want to make sure that everybody has environment and space basically conducive to basically what you guys can work well in. And so those are just some of the things that were brought up as far as comments and things that we can improve on. So we kind of listened to that, and I'm going to be working with some of our other vendors across the city. Some of you guys have a pretty long commute in, and so we're going to work with affiliated partners with title companies and lenders to allow us workspace within their offices. And so I would say probably within the next 2 or 3 months, I'll have at least some other satellite locations throughout the city where you guys can come in and plug in either here or there and just do whatever kind of work. Training schedule, guys, tomorrow training is at 1 p.m. So it goes Tuesday at 8:30, Wednesday at 1 p.m. And then Thursdays we're also I'll be going over like contract questions, sync questions. We're going to kind of do a Q&A on Thursday. So if you guys need to come in and basically ask a bunch of questions about anything, a deal that you have, and we can do a roundtable discussion on basically how the best way to solve some of those issues are.
What time?
Thursday, just in the morning, around like 8:30, 9 o'clock on Thursdays. Guys, we're having call night tonight, so we're giving away prizes and for everything, making it fun. So, like I said, food, beverages, we'll have beer, wine, liquor. If you don't drink, we'll have plenty of water too. You know. So, like I said, make time, guys. Make it. If it's just what is that one thing I can do? It's just the answer is getting outside my comfort zone. The best way to do that, guys, is just to do it. Jump in and do something. And whether it's call night tonight, Michael, what time we starting at 5? Yeah, whether it's call night tonight, guys, and the thing is you don't have to call when you come here. You can observe. You can observe some of the other people calling and seeing how their conversion is. If you guys want to come in and do videos, you know, we have the equipment, guys. If you guys want to come in and say, look, I'm not going to do it unless somebody else is here and they're going to do it with me, I guarantee you if you walk up to one of the agents and say, hey, let's do a 30-second video that we can use, the agent's going to be like, absolutely do it. You know, so if you want to create videos, guys, if you want to make phone calls, if you just want to observe, or if you want to come in and get your templates filled out, and you need help with that, guys, everything that we do together is a group. So there will be people here to help you do all that. Just let me know ahead of time if you were going to want something very specific like templates filled out or something like that, so I can make sure that we designate and set some time aside. Cool. Crush it this week. Some good week. What a good week last week. Continue. Everybody's been asking what's going on with the market. It's just inconsistent.
Yeah, we sold more houses last month than ever we used to. And even though it didn't seem like it because we listed more houses than ever, but we sold more houses than ever been sold last month.
That's weird. Because you don't see there's just no consistency. Yeah.
More than Dallas too, for the first time since like 2017.
And that's crazy because Dallas has so much other, institutional investors, personal and everything. Jen, you want to tell everybody your awesome story?
Okay. I got a call on Sunday morning from a New York number. Well, I didn't answer it because, I didn't know anybody in New York. But about that time, ding, sync went off, and I looked, and it was the same number. So I said, I better call this back. So spoke with this woman, and she wanted to have a showing at a house that's listed at 674 down in Pearland. So we went over, they've decided to put in an offer on it, and I got the listing on their house, which is right around the corner from the other one, so Charlie and I are gonna go on a listing appointment tonight. So sync works.
Awesome.
And I was the biggest, the biggest Debbie Downer there was on sync. But anyway, so it works, so there, and thank you, Michael, for passing along the.
Setting up your alerts, guys, so you know when your people are online is crucial. I mean, if you're sitting at home and it's 9 o'clock and you've got 4 people that are online searching on Sync and you email them, hey, I see you're working late. You got any questions about 123 Main? That's a really cool house. Something like that, guys. Imagine how powerful that is. I mean, you just have to make sure you know and understand the system and how it works and how to set up your alerts. How do you set up your auto everything? Auto emails, auto text messages. It's just really making sure that you understand basically all the opportunities that thing can do. All right, awesome.
And just with the script training that we do, it's very important because the questions that maybe Jim Marie asked or another agent asked last week, it's what you tell them and how you communicate with them. Because even last night, a lead was texting me at 9 p.m. last night, a distressed seller going back and forth asking me those hard questions. And I'm just following the script nice and easy. This is what we do, make a fair offer. I need to meet you in person. What are you gonna offer? It's well, in order for me to make you a fair offer, I do need to meet your property. It's not fair to you, which is the key word fair. So they're okay, all through text, and then they want to meet this Friday. So it's all about timing. That's why even when we're doing call night in the evenings, sometimes you're gonna get more people on the phone in the evenings versus right now at 9 a.m. So it's just spreading out your time and practicing your scripts and everything that we learned, that you take note of that and not just forget it and just do it your way. Obviously we've been through so many trainings that we're teaching you the right way to close. So take that in perspective, and then of course 1% every day, just following your 1% to get better, to close more deals.
Scripts are very important, guys. It's huge. If you see someone that basically has just been tried and true with their scripts, it's just crazy on their conversion. Because it literally is, there's just no stop. There's no other. I mean, they know the answers where they can just, and the thing is in real estate, anything, guys, in sales in general, it's a debate. You know, the people that are typically really good at debate are really, really good at sales. A lot of sales companies like Dell, they make their agents go through Toastmasters. Like they have to get certified at Toastmasters before they can actually get onto the sales floor. So they make them actually take classes and go through that, and all it is about speaking and learning how to debate and how to have arguments in the right way. Hand gestures, eye contact, it's all those inverbal communications. So there's so much that goes into sales. Obviously you gotta know what you're talking about. But it comes down to basically scripts. Because like I said, out of 13 different conversations, guys, if you have those down pat, you're going to look like a professional regardless how long you've been in the business. Cool. All right, let's crush it today, guys. If anybody needs anything, y'all just let me know.